Hello, welcome to today's video. What we're going to be looking at is using frequency separation in landscape photography. Now, typically when we talk about frequency separation, what we'd be talking about is skin smoothing in portraits. It's not typically something that's used a lot in landscape photography, and in my opinion, it's it's a tool that comes up a little bit. There are a few things that it can be used for, one of which we're going to do today. But overall, it's just a nice little thing to have in your tool belt, even if you're never going to touch portraits and you only work on landscapes. It is going to give us an effect that's kind of roughly analogous to an Orton effect, but in a very more localized fashion and a more intense fashion. I have a file prepared. Let's open it up and get to editing. All right, and when we're talking about using frequency separation in terms of landscape photos, most of the time when I use it, and I use it very sparingly if I'm being absolutely honest, it's when we have more intimate shots like this. So if we zoom in a little bit, we can see that we have this transition down at the bottom from these reds and browns into these greens. And while I think the photo looks good as it is, I think it would be improved if we could soften some of the edges between where it's brown and where it's green. So to do that, we're going to use frequency separation. All right, so the first thing we want to do is make sure that we have a pixel layer with everything. So we're going to merge visible, and that'll merge all of our visible layers into a pixel layer. Then we're going to take that pixel layer and we're going to duplicate it. Let's name the first one our base layer, and then we are not going to worry about the second one because what we're going to do is select it, go up to filters, frequency separation, and you'll get this little pop-up. So I like a radius around 2-3 pixels, no more than 5. It's just the higher the radius, the more details are going to be pulled out into the high frequency rather than the low frequency. Feature protection tolerance of 50% is perfectly fine, whatever. And as you can see here, we have this little filter that we can move across. The dark areas, kind of the outlines that we see here, are going to tell us what's high frequency versus what's low frequency, basically. So let's go ahead and apply that. Let's move out to less magnification. Okay, so we've got our high frequency and our low frequency. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to make high frequency invisible for a moment. And then we're going to select the low frequency, go to filters, blur, Gaussian blur. Now I recommend anything from a 5 to a 10. In this case, I'm going to use a 10 because I think I like the look of it a little bit better. Okay. So then we're going to turn the high frequency back on, and you can see that it added just a little bit of detail back in, but we actually want to mask this low frequency. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new mask layer, and then take that mask layer and apply it to our low frequency layer. So we want to select that mask, and then we want to invert it with a Control I. As you can see, our effect went away completely, and then we're going to select our paintbrush and a completely white color. Obviously, you can do different opacities on this. I'm just going to do it kind of quick and dirty for this. So then I wanted to do this only on the leaf, so I'm going to go ahead and paint in the leaf. All right, so now that the leaf is painted in, and that is very quick and dirty, take as much time as you need to really fiddle with the details and make sure you still have sharp outlines, but we're just going to go over this technique, so there's no need to make it perfect, right? Okay, so now our leaf just looks really blurry and out of place. So actually what we're going to do is we're going to drop the opacity on the effect, and right around between 25 and 50%. I like 50%. Okay, so what did this do? So we are losing some information here. We're losing some detail. But I think by doing that and keeping the sharpness around it, the leaf looks a little bit nicer, a little bit more robust, and it doesn't have as sharp of distinctions between the colors. And that'll do it. that's how you can apply frequency separation to landscape photos. All right, well, that's the video. If you liked it, go ahead and hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you do subscribe, don't forget to hit the bell so you get notified. Comment below on any sort of unusual editing techniques you use in your landscape photography, or just interesting tips and tricks. That's it, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.